I want to bring in News Nation anchor Marni Hughes. You've covered this story extensively for years. As Sloan mentioned, we are still waiting on the first appearance, a press conference later this afternoon. What are you hoping to hear from investigators?
Brooke, it's really interesting because, as you and I were talking in the commercial break a moment ago, we covered this case a year or more ago because it was back in the headlines. There was a new commissioner in charge, said, we're going to take another look at this case. It has been more than a decade with unanswered questions, and these murders have gone unsolved. We can get to the police corruption allegations in a moment, but this is a huge development and some really chilling details as I spoke to the attorney who represents both the families of Shannan Gilbert and Jessica Taylor. These are two of the victims who were found on Gilgo Beach. As Sloan just mentioned, this is a well-known architect who they've taken into custody. He's 59 years old, Rex Heuermann. As Sloan mentioned, he owns properties not just in Long Island, but also in Massachusetts. And the attorney telling me not only does he own properties, he called these seedy, modest properties. So you can draw your own conclusions to what that means. He also said that he works for a not-for-profit organization that works with victims of domestic abuse or of domestic violence, which just makes the hair on your arm stand up. The attorney tells me he thinks he will be charged, and we'll hear this later today, in connection with 4 of the women's deaths. And those are the women whose bodies were found covered in burlap along this beach all those years ago. They were along the Ocean Parkway. The other very curious piece of information that he shared with me in the last hour is that there were remains of possibly a man that were found as soon as yesterday in this same area. So new remains discovered. This again, according to the attorney, John Ray. So we're working to independently confirm that with police. But remains discovered yesterday at the causeway to Gilgo Beach or near the causeway. And he said these were, quote, unusual circumstances in which these remains were found. So he brought up the question whether or not the remains found yesterday were the final link to make an arrest last night or early this morning of Rex Heuermann. We don't know that yet, but it is very curious and peculiar, the timing of those remains being found.
Right. What was the tipping point here?
Exactly.
That finally got him in custody. I do want to talk about the victims, though, here. We're talking about 10 or 11 bodies that we know of at this point. Most of them were known sex workers. And so there's been some criticism that maybe this case didn't get the attention that these victims deserved.
Right, because they had a checkered past, their families immediately said, police aren't taking this seriously. They're not investigating as they would another case. And so that was a criticism early on. But Brooke, as this case started to get down the road, right, years down the road, the criticism then shifted to the Suffolk County police chief at the time. His name was James Burke. And there were allegations of corruption. There were allegations that the investigation wasn't moving forward, that they weren't staying on the case. And then there was a situation where he was accused of assaulting a man who stole a bag out of his car that they thought was evidence in the case. That led to his conviction on conspiracy. So at that point, the investigation stalled, and there were a lot of questions about police corruption. So fast forward to 2018, you've got Geraldine Hart, who is now the police commissioner of Suffolk County, and she's from this area. She says, I know this case. I grew up here. This is important for me to solve. She held a press conference as early as this year in January, talking about new developments and DNA analysis in this case, not only linking the victims, but trying to link them to a suspect. So I would not be surprised if her refocus on the case and lifting some of the restrictions on DNA evidence led to where we are today. There is a lot that we still don't know, but I would say this is a giant sigh of relief for the families, for the people who have lived in fear for the last 10 years that there was a serial killer on the loose. They allegedly have the suspect in custody now. I'm looking to learn a lot about what evidence specifically led to his arrest in the last 24 hours.
And again, you mentioned you talked to the attorney for the families of a couple of these victims involved here. What are they saying? I mean, like you said, likely a sigh of relief, but what are they hoping to hear from police?
Answers, closure.
Sure.
They're relieved, and they're just thankful that the case is not over, right? That it's being investigated.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.